we are going to get started. We have a great FlexCast for you. We're going to talk about virtual studio today. We're going to go in deeper into image creations. And one of the things that we haven't been able to do the last, 3, 4, 5 weeks, as we spent so much time sharing about version 2 that we've gotten away from how to actually use it and to give you good tips on how to get the best results. So we're going to do a little bit of both today. We're going to go more into version 2. We're going to talk a little bit about how to get the very best of virtual studio today. Let's start with Flexology. Corey, how you doing this morning? Catch you off guard a little bit. How you doing?
I'm good. I was really enjoying the music. I was hoping we were going to get to that solo and comfortably know, but it's just such a long song.
I know, and there's no way to skim through them here inside of StreamYard. So I wish I could do that. But we have lots of show. We're going to get in there. There's a couple of them. I will tell you that there are like 4 or 5 that were incredibly good. Sweet Child of Mine obviously was there. Pink Floyd's Comfy Numb, Hotel California. We still have Purple Rain to go. We still have November Rain. So we got a couple more. We got one from Metallica. We got a bunch more still to go through. I think we're going to get a few more in here as we go and do some drawings. So it's a lot. Let's get going, though. Let's get going into some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So I like to just kind of keep reiterating the best way to explain who RUBI is. And so version 2's tagline is the most powerful, value-driven AI platform in the world. It's one of those things that you just keep hearing. It wraps up really what we are because we are able to do just the most incredible things. We open up the creativity. We open up your mind to do just whatever you can possibly imagine with all of the AI tools in one place with one low subscription price. If you're new and coming in, even if you're not new, you're going to keep hearing redundant stuff because these are the most important key points that you need to know when you're out there talking about RUBI and what it can do. One of those is that we have 4 patents pending right now on applications inside of RUBI. These are what we call microservices, but they're helping us establish market superiority and protection for your business and ours. These 4 microservices are Intellichat, Personify, Closer, and Canvas Plus. And so you're going to get to see and hear a little bit more about those, but these are ones that are really going to safeguard where we go and position ourselves in the future, and they're pretty dynamic opportunities. So just keep learning it. The most powerful, value-driven AI platform in the world. This is what defines who we are. It says everything, and it's just kind of an easy thing to roll off your tongue. So let's get started in looking at a little bit more into version 2. We're gonna talk a little bit about the way that the system works a little bit today. We're not gonna spend a lot of time. I did this over on Tuesday. So on Tuesday it was long. I'm not gonna tell you it wasn't long. It was an hour and 30 minutes or so for us to go through the entire part of version 2. But I think it was really good because there's bits and pieces of it. And we've broken down each of the videos into each section so you can look at each microservice as you wish. We're putting those into YouTube today. So you'll be able to go to YouTube and break down if you want to see just Personify. You're going to be able to go through and listen to everything about Personify. If you want to look at just Intellichat, we break it down. So each of them are broken down for you to go into. But there's a couple things that I wanted to kind of touch on. We've touched on a lot of the microservices, but we haven't touched on a lot of the actual way the system works. And so I want to spend just a few seconds here to do that. And up at the very top of the menus, you see up here, there are 4 different things that you can look at. Obviously, light mode, dark mode, that's an easy switch to make. And you'll see credits and words. This is also where you will buy more words or credits. So just click on it. It will take you to the back office. You will purchase whatever amount of words you want, and it'll kick you back over here, and the words will be added into your account. Same thing with credits. But one thing about credits that you're going to notice is that you'll see now that we're doing decimals because we're doing what we call multipliers to whatever the subject is. So we might have like a background removal in our virtual studio image lab that is of a 0.1. Our audio is based upon every 250 words. It's a 0.25 credit. And so you'll see 0.25s. And this is a way so that you can get the very most out of the system, and it works for your benefit, not just 1 credit every time you use something. And so we've got this in there. The last one you're gonna see is something brand new. Like you've never seen this before because it's called jobs. And there are certain things in the platform that just take a long time to do. You know, we don't control all the things that happen in the third party world. We know sometimes it just takes a long time to get through the queues on things like Midjourney. Things that we're doing for Personify sometimes can take a long time. We're scraping social media platforms. That can take a little bit of time. But there's also things like rendering music. And if you want the high res and the stems, well, it takes a little bit of time to render those. So what we've done is anything that takes a little bit longer than just a minute or so, we're going to put into a job. And that will automatically work in the background. And you can continue to move on in your world. And we will notify you when it's completed. And we're going to notify you two different ways. One, will notify you by email. But we're also going to have, you know, if you're still in the app, you're going to get a notification that it's completed. Now, one of the things you can also do is that if you clicked on the jobs up here, you can see all the jobs, your jobs, that are actually processing in our system at that very minute. And you're also going to see if it's queued, which means it hasn't started to process yet, but it's in the queue to process. And this is a very rare occasion that you're going to see this. And it's not on our platform that's having the problem, but there might be a third-party platform that's queuing. And if they're queuing us, we're going to let you know so you don't have to sit there and wait 55 hours, right? So what we'll do is we'll go through and you can see this version, you'll know where they are, and you can kind of know your timing. Now, once they're finished, it's going to give you a little notification up here in the top right that it's finished, and you can go into whatever the subject is that you're trying to get, and you can gain access. All right. So I guess a few more things that we would deal with. Everything stays the same up here for your workspaces and subscriptions. So if you pull that down, it's going to give you all your different workspaces, which also changes, where your content is going. So wherever you're going to be in your workspace, that's going to allow you to see that. All right, that's kind of the basics of just getting going. Now, your workspaces and collaborators and usage, all that will be found in your profile section. I'm not going to go into that today because we have a lot to cover on how to use Virtual Studio. And so I'm super excited about being able to jump in. If you've been here, maybe since January, maybe, you may have seen some of this before. But I want you to understand that this is super important to get the most out of RUBI. And one of the things that we have always talked about and prided ourselves on is to make sure that we're giving the learning and the education to get you going into doing bigger, better things. And that's what we're going to do today. And this time we're going to deal with the Virtual Studio Image Lab. We're going to talk through how to get the best that you can out of your Virtual Studio Image Lab. And there's some very specific things that need to happen. And it's one of the reasons why we're doing this, by the way, is we just had a lot of new people come in. And we've had a lot of emails and text and customer service tickets about, I need help to write this, and I need help. And I thought, you know what, this is a good week to do this. Let's break it down and let's give you some tips how to make those really good masterpiece videos, or they will be videos at some point, but images. So let's talk about this. So number one, be specific. You want to have the more detail in your prompt, the better the AI can understand and generate whatever it is that you're envisioning for them. So be real detailed in the prompt and use descriptive languages. So include adjectives and really vivid descriptions of like all the things that you can think of that you want in the actual image. And so here's a good example of a script of a prompt for the image that you're seeing back behind us right now. I want a realistic photograph capturing a female athlete, boasting anatomically perfect body composition and intricate skin details. Witness her in the midst of, and then you can insert whatever it is. Downhill skiing. Radiating elation, so she's happy, and unyielding desire to triumph, and a blend of fatigue and elation. The scene is amplified with a backdrop of event banners fluttering. You don't see those, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. Adding depth to her athletic journey. Now, here's the real big deal, guys. If you really want to take your prompts on realistic, photorealistic imagery is think about doing the camera setup and the lens. You know, you don't have to be a photographer to do this. There are lots of different ways that you can find these, but in version 2, it's in the tooltip. In version 1, it's not in the tooltip, but you can go into RUBI and ask her to give you like the most common top 5 or top 10 camera settings for an image prompt. And it will give you, so you can just save those and you can go in and you can put them in there, but this will give you this really great image and it will look something like this, you know? And so when you go in, you can create unbelievable stuff, but you have to understand how to get it there. And sometimes it's about taking multiple times. It's not the first time. AI is about going through and getting it, you know, fine tuning each step of the way to go through it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that here in a second as well. Another great thing is to incorporate styles into the prompts. So you might say, mention specific art styles or artists or movements that you want the image to mimic. Okay, so again, if you're wanting to come in and say, I want this in a Ansel Adams style, then it's going to give it to you. But you can improve so much in what your results are by putting in a lot of different styles, artists, anything that you can do as a reference to give the AI a way to envision what you're envisioning. Now, you also want to talk about the composition that you want, especially if you're doing it for graphics to be laid over the top. You want to kind of explain how you want that. I want the statue to the far right, or I want it in the foreground. I want a deep depth of field that's blurred so that you can kind of get what you want to put into wherever you're trying to use this. And so going through and giving it the layout, a perspective, maybe it's like looking straight up. Think about if you're in the in a forest and you just want to look at the sun coming through the leaves and having all the striations, then you're just going to tell it to look straight up the trees. Look straight up through a forest into the sun with rays coming through the leaves. That's a very good way to in describing what you're going to end up with. And then talk about the lighting, just like I was talking about now. I want it to be seeing the sun and the striations to come through the leaves. Well, that was kind of what this is, and I'm talking about here. I want my dog, okay, so my dog's an Irish Doodle, and I wanted to have the Irish Doodle running like a hero from a volcano erupting. Okay, so that's kind of the stuff that I'm putting in. I'm talking about the atmosphere in which I want that to be. I want that to be emotional. So I want it to see deep into the eyes and bring it close to the foreground. And you can see that it's a great dynamic photo. And guys, you can do this on so many different things. And it's unbelievable what you can come up with. This was one that was taken like right after we pushed RUBI Virtual Studio to version 1, and the detail, the emotion that's in the eyes, the photorealism of it is intense. And this is what will make your content that you're trying to create even more powerful, is by going and really putting in all the details. Now, another thing that you can do is understand that when you're starting to create your masterpiece, think of each one of them as a masterpiece, okay? You might have to use iterations of it, which is I'm going to start with a broad concept, and then I'm going to start to refine my prompt down a little bit by little bit. If you're looking for just award-winning, just incredible art, it might take you 3 or 4 times. And I understand if you're using Midjourney, that can be quite a few credits. But it's just depending on what you want. And the better you get at putting the prompts in at the very beginning, you probably can get it done in 2. But this is a big part of it. So you start broad, bring it in, and you can also start broad in like DALL-E 3. get the idea of how it's going to frame it. Look at the framing of it. Look at the perspective. And that's, a point or a 1 credit every time you do it. So you can get quite a few going before then. And then you take that prompt and run it into Midjourney. Now you're also going to have several more things to run into here in a second. And we're going to hit on those in version 2. But be patient, understanding that mastering all the nuances of AI. And I think this is one of the things it's kind of hard to understand if the first time you get in and you see amazing pictures and you're seeing this amazing result of people have, double imagery and all these things that are going on. And they didn't just sit down and make that the first time they did it. It's like there's a little bit of a learning curve. And that's why we're trying to help more today and give you a lot more information of how to go and do that. So understanding that it takes a little time, that will help take some of the frustration off. If you just sit down and you go, well, that didn't give me what I asked for. Well, AI isn't always perfect. It's going to have to understand what you are looking for. So if it's not exactly what you're asking for, then think about how you can take your prompt and really give it a lot more information to get the vision that you're trying to push out to an image. Now, a couple of things you can also do is describe. You can upload an image that you found that you like, and it's something that you would like to be able to use, but it's copyrighted, and you don't want to be able, obviously break that. So what you can do is you can use and describe, and there's also image to image now. So describe may be something that you still want to use because I like to have the prompts. I like to be able to take a prompt and tweak the prompt, and I can't do that to image. So if it was image to image, I would just upload the image and it would kick me out another image. Here, I can get a prompt, and the prompt I can go in, manipulate and change, and I can use it later or whatever. So it's really what you're looking for, but the scribe is going to give you 4 different prompts that are going to be similar to the image that you have here so that it will create one. And then you can go and take that over and you can create the image. Now, when you're creating the images, you may need to tweak the prompt a little bit, but you also may want to change the way the perspective is. Maybe it's zooming it in a little bit, but whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, you'll be able to accomplish that by doing great prompts. So spend the time really learning some of the things, and don't be afraid to ask RUBI. I mean, that's one of the beautiful things that we have there is that you have the Ask RUBI button, open it up, ask it for apertures and give you, the top, camera angles used for creating images. And maybe it's the type of image, like if you're doing a city skyline, you're going to want to have a different camera. Like this camera would be a long distance camera that's zoomed in. That's how you're getting that real big depth of field. But if you might be doing a portrait, and that portrait might be super close up with a wide angle, it's all the different things that you might be able to create. But whatever it is that you have in your mind, you will be able to generate within the AI. But it takes some little time, and you might need to play with it a little bit. So I want to do a couple of things. That wraps up kind of the way I wanted to do our teaching of doing the prompting. I do want to just talk about Virtual Studio in version 2 just real quick, because you do have a lot more options. We're talking about Midjourney and DALL-E 3, but you do have Leonardo AI, Stable Diffusion XL, and then image enhancement. So this is the way that the new layout is. It's not a drop down. You have a menu at the top, and you'll be able to go through it. Now, it's going to be the same process. As soon as you click process on your prompt, it's going to give you the option for it to start to render. It's going to deliver those. If it's in Midjourney, Midjourney gives you 4 options. And from there, you can hover over and you can see that there's little pieces over here that you can jump into to do different things. You can upscale it. You can do variations of it. You can actually view it. Now, one of the things that's different in this version is that when you click view on the image, it's going to pull up right on the screen there. It's not going to open up a new window or a new tab. And you can also go down and just click download and take it down that way. So lots of different little things that would just improve the user experience. Now, another thing you'll notice is up here on the right, and you don't see up here, is the image gallery. So to get to the image gallery, it's really just this little slide window that you just click, and the window's going to slide out. And when you do this, you're going to see all of your images come out, and you'll be able to do several different things. One, you can do bulk actions. So you can see all the little blue tabs here. I can go and click on each one of these. I'll be able to download in a bunch of them at a time. I'll be able to link them to a specific project. So if you're just now learning about version 2 will have projects that will have all of the files and all of the images and anything that you use as an asset for making the end product of your project. It'll keep them all together. And you'll be able to pull that project back up. And when you pull it up, it will have all the things that are linked to that. So if you used a prompt, if you used a certain chat conversation, maybe it was images, maybe it was audio, maybe it was music, whatever it is, it'll all be attached to that one project. Now in the visual lab, you'll also be able to do massive deletes. So if you're doing stuff that you want to get rid of a bunch of them, great, you can delete them. And after you've downloaded them, you may want to delete them if you're not going to use them inside of Ruby anymore, just to be using your storage management wisely. And so once you've done that, you can just hit apply and it will do whatever it is that you're trying to do. Now, one of the things I love about the drawer and the image gallery is that I might be sitting working right now on this project right here, and I'm trying to get this the way that I really want it. And again, I might have to do it 2, 3, 4 times to get exactly what I'm looking for. And if that's the case, and I've got this one my 3rd time, I might want to just go back and look at what was already done before and see if I can improve my prompt a little bit more off of what I wanted or what I wanted to keep. And I can do that without ever having to leave. And I can come right back into doing all the stuff that I want to, including working on that same project. Now with Leonardo AI and Stable Diffusion XL, they actually are bringing you a bunch more of presets. Now they're called models, and they're just like a preset to help you get going. I will say that there's a learning curve to Leonardo AI. Stable Diffusion is also a little bit of a learning curve. You're going to see a couple of things that you don't normally see, like add a negative prompt or add a seed. And if you don't know what those are, there's a video that will be right up here off of Leonardo AI. You just click it and you'll have the video that will tell you what those all mean, why and how you would use them. So it will help guide you through this. The great thing about Leonardo AI and Stable Diffusion is that it is only a 0.2 per image on your credits. So you can go through and create a lot of images and you'll be able to do that. Now it's 0.2 per image. So in both Leonardo AI and also in Stable Diffusion, you have the ability to choose how many images you want to create at the same time. Unlike Midjourney that just gives you 4, or DALL-E 3 that just gives you 1, these both give you an option to see how many of those that you would like to generate, okay? Number of images. And it'll be 0.2 for each one of those. So another way to go out and really test your prompts. And let me tell you, because of all of these models that are already built, you get some really incredible stuff and it's really pretty fast. So I'm really excited about bringing both of these to the Virtual Studio Image Lab. I think you'll find that it will let you create even more great content. And then you can actually go in and really spend some time doing the things that you want to make that masterpiece. Okay. Now, the other thing that you saw in there in the menu was the image enhancement. And it's really important because the image enhancements let you take an image that wasn't maybe perfect. Like, let's just take my dog running from the erupting volcano. Let's just say that I wanted my dog to be then running in front of a waterfall. There's several different ways I can do that without redoing the entire image, because I really like the way the dog looked. I had the deep eyes. I loved the way that the emotion was there. I just wanted a different background. So instead of having to go and create an entirely new image, I can open up image enhancements and I can load that image. How do I load that image? Well, I'm just going to click on this. It's going to open up our asset manager. You're going to find the image. It's going to load it in here. And when you hit generate, it's going to remove the background. It automatically senses what the foreground is, and it will move the background and leave you with a transparency. Now, why is that important? Well, because in Ruby Canvas, you actually have a compositing tool that you can actually put a new background in there and drop the dog on the top of it, and then add the logos and the text and everything else that you want to right inside of Ruby. Now, you may not want to do this. You may want to say, hey, I know it, I want to put a waterfall. Well, that's why we have a lot of different ones. So what I explained to you was to remove the background. But if I want to replace the background, I can click on replace the background and actually give it a prompt, and it will do the same thing, except for instead of leaving me a transparency, I am going to now have whatever I described in the background of that image. Now, you can do this in object removal, replace object, out painting, in painting. I'll talk a little bit about those just for a second. So out painting, if you ever saw an image and you wanted to use that image, but it just didn't fit. Like I just didn't have enough extra space on the outside to get the zoom that I wanted, or to zoom out far enough to fit in, but I still needed it to fill in an aspect ratio of whatever it is. Maybe it's a cover for Facebook. I need it wide. I want it to be wider. But I want to keep the subject small and in the center, but I need those extra outside areas. That's what outpainting does. It takes a normal picture and it adds more of the outside of it. It duplicates those out to make it where you have more area on the outside of the image. Now, in painting is allowing you to go in with a brush and just literally paint over the top of something and then tell the prompt what it is that you want to replace it with. So it might be in a room and you're like, I don't like this couch, put in a leather sectional, and it will drop in a leather sectional in that area that you've masked out. In painting and out painting are both premium image enhancements. So you got to have the premium or premium plus subscription to use this. It's a very powerful tool though for helping you get going. Now, we have replace sky, we have face swap, which is already there. It's amazing. Restore face. Restore face takes an image that may not have the best features. Maybe it was taken from a long ways, or maybe you're zooming that image up to get it to what you want. Restore face will help restore that and clean it up. Reimagine is super powerful as well. And what this would be a great example of is, let's say a motocross rider is in the air, is taking a jump off of a racetrack. But now I want to take it, I want to put it in the middle of the Sahara Desert in the sand dunes. So I can hit Reimagine XL and it will actually put it in different places around how I can use it. And it really does open up creativity. I like the tool not for a finished product, but to give me concepts and ideas of what I can do with something that I have as an asset. Great for redesigning rooms. For realtors, it'll be a powerful tool because they can come in and they can give, some ideas of what could be done in a room, especially a house that has no furniture in it yet, that's not set up, or maybe it needs to have a remodel. And you can start to show them ideas of what it could be. You can do those with Reimagine. Photo colorize, taking old photos, and it's really cool. If you take like a 1970s image, it's probably washed out and it has a certain look. But you want to keep the look, but you just want to make it better. You can actually bring that photo in and it will colorize it just like it was back in that day. Sketch to image. It's kind of a crazy one. We don't even actually know if this will come out in version 2 yet. But it allows you to put in, like if I wanted to draw a couple eyes and a beak and a kind of a rough edge of an owl, it'll go and put me in an owl. So whatever you sketch, I'll be able to pull it out. That's one of them that we are on the fence with about bringing forward into. It will definitely come out. It's whether or not we do it on an initial release or not. Image upscaling, we know about. Describe, we know about. In the image I all of this built into the options. Everything that you see here, except for in painting and out painting, are available to every subscription, and it only costs 0.1 credit on each one of these. So you can really go in and dig deep to get what it is that you're trying to get. So it's going to be pretty incredible when you get going. I do see something about can swap, do multiple faces. No, we're not doing multiple faces in face swap. The face swap is exactly as it is today. So it's All right, we're still going to be working here a little bit. I wanted to go into Intellichat a little bit because I wanted to kind of walk through how powerful this is on all of the different ways that you use the the different models. And if you're just now joining us and you don't know that much about Intellichat, Intellichat is one of those 4 patent pending applications inside of RUBI. And what it does is it doesn't just give you a conversational chat for one, but it opens up the conversational chat to the most powerful chats in the world. And if you can think of it like this, if you were doing a group chat and you invited all of the biggest chats in the world to that conversation, and you were having this conversation with you and your friend, and you were creating this thing, and then you wanted another friend's input, you wouldn't have to go and call that friend, explain everything that happened in that other conversation so that that friend could give you input. Because they were already in the group chat, they were following you already. And that's what Intellichat is empowering you with in version 2, is that all of the chats are there and understanding what is going on without you having to jump from subscription to subscription, from model to model, from platform to platform, and then retelling everybody every time you jump a platform or a model what it is that you just said so that it can respond. It keeps everything in place the first time. And so I have a little prompt down here because I wanted to go through here and I wanted it to create calls to action. Okay, so I've got this great thing and I'm just telling you, I want it to create 10 calls to action. And I'm going to start up here with, I'm actually going to start with Claude 3 Sonnet. Okay, now you may never have heard of Claude 3. You may not have ever heard of Cohere or Command. You may have heard, maybe you don't even know about Gemini Pro from Google. And then, of course, you have GPT-4 and GPT-3.5. You have all these different models to choose from. So I personally like Claude 3. That it's got 3 different models. It's got Claude 3 Opus, it's got Claude 3 Sonnet, it's got Claude 3 Haiku. Now, they're all different in the way that they're trained. So they're going to give you different results. They're not all the same. That's why they released 3 of them. They also have different ways of responding. Haiku is extremely fast, like it's almost instant. Claude 3 Sonnet, it's about comparable to GPT-4. And then you got Claude 3 Opus. It would be already where you're probably going to see GPT-5. I like Claude 3. Now, you can use whatever it is you want. In fact, what I'm going to show you today is that you're going to be better off using all of them. And so let me kind of walk you through how this works. Now, I'm actually going to start with Haiku. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to start with Haiku because Haiku does not count against your word bank. Neither does GPT-3.5 Turbo, and neither does Claude Instant. So there's 3 free to use models inside of chat. Now, why is that super important? Well, it's super important because I can go through and really fine tune a little bit and I can get some conversation going completely free and then fine tune into the paid, multipliers like GPT-4 is a multiplier of 1. What that means is that if there's 100 words created, there'll be 100 words deducted from the word bank. The only one currently in our system that's more than 1 is Claude 3 Opus. It actually has a multiplier of 3. It costs more, but it's really good. So I can go through and use Haiku. And let's just start with Haiku because what I'm doing is I'm writing a prompt. Now, this is a great learning place for you too to learn prompts. Now we have modules that will do this for you, right? I can go into my modules here and I could go into social media and I could jump in here and say, I want to do a hashtag or maybe the CTAs. Like this is our developers. We don't have all of our stuff in there. But if I just go into the social media hashtag generator, I can go in here and just add it and it will produce whatever it is. I don't want to do that right now. I want to use the prompt that I've written and I brought in here. Now, it says, act as an award-winning marketer and generate catchy, compelling, and effective calls to action based on the given topic. Your task is to generate calls to action by a given number, which I'm going to show you in a minute, each designed to encourage individuals to adopt RUBI AI while making a positive impact on the fight against human trafficking. The calls to action should be persuasive, actionable, and tailored to the topic. And then I have my count, and I put 10. Now, if you're building prompts, one of the things that makes it easy and better results when creating a prompt is to not just stick all of it up in the verbiage, but to give it a place to say, I'm going to ask you to do this, and I'm going to give you this, and when you're finished, I want you to go get it, and then it understands it better. Okay? Now, the other thing that you'll see up here when you're writing a prompt is you want to be really detailed. Again, the better the prompt, the better vision that you're giving it to give you the result that you're looking for. Now, when you're talking about act as an award-winning marketer, I'm telling you to take on a role. So doing roles is also a major good way of getting great results, no matter what model that you're using. So I'm going to run this on Haiku. So I'm going to put this in. I'm just going to hit the button. It's going to go in Haiku. And you can see how fast Haiku is. It's super fast. And giving it to you. Now I'm asking for 10 different call to actions. And so I have them. Empower the movement, adopt RUBI and liberate the enslaved, right? Because this is talking about RUBI AI and helping it use the fight against human trafficking. So here we have this amazing output, okay, 10 quick ones. Now, what I love about this, because it's super powerful, is I see this little edit tool right here. If I just click that, it actually reloads that same prompt back into my prompt box. Now, I can go back in here and I can edit it. But what I can also do is come up here and change, and maybe I go to a different model. Okay, so I'm going to go to GTP4, and I want to run it on 4 now. So now I just hit the button again, and you'll see that this logo has changed. And now I'm running the exact same prompt on GPT-4. Now that's not utilizing anything new because I'm running the same prompt. But watch what happens next, okay? So let's let them finish here. It's giving me 10 new ones. And what's great about this is I can open up my editor on the side over here, and I can take the ones I really like and start building out my list. Okay, I don't have to leave. I can just come in here and say, okay, I really like leverage the cutting edge capabilities. Or maybe I really like this one, right? I can come in here and I can just copy that and paste it over into my editor. And I can do that for all of them. I can go and get the ones I really like. I like this one here. Okay, I want to do number 1. And I say I really like number 1 a lot. So watch what I can do here. I'm going to flip this over to Claude 3 Opus. Now, Claude 3 Opus was not it. And you know what? I'm not even going to do that because someone will say something different. I'm going to go to Gemini Pro, a completely different platform. It has no knowledge loaded into that platform about what was already in this conversation. But I want to ask now to go here and say, create 5 more. Not even tell what more is. Just create 5 more based on number 1. Okay, I want it to be 5 more based off of number 1. And now it will go out, and Gemini does a little bit different way of loading that information. It comes in like full sentences instead of like a full stream. So it might take a few seconds to get that done. I want to run it over here though, so hang on just a second. It'll take just a second. Maybe. Don't know why it's stalling. Let me do this. Let me go to, I'll go to Cohere. Let me do Cohere. I haven't done anything on Gemini for a while. I need to check that. On our dev server, things change all the time. So they may have changed the keys. Let me do this. Let me reload this prompt. But this time I'm gonna run it off of Command or Cohere. Okay, again, totally different platform. It doesn't know anything about what we're talking about, right? So I'm going to tell it to create 5 more based off of number 1. It already knows everything that it needs to know to go and create that. Now look how it even responds. Here are 5 additional calls to action based on the first one. Okay, the time is now. Adopt Ruby and join the fight for freedom. Be a force for good. Empower your actions with Ruby AI. Human trafficking is complex, but your contribution doesn't have to be. Adopt Ruby AI and get started today. Everyone has a role of ending human trafficking. What's yours? These are great. Like, this is what I really wanted. And so now I go and I find all the things that I really want. And I did it because I could switch between the models. And guys, this is going to allow you to do so much fact checking, so much in fine tuning and polishing your stuff. It's super, super powerful. And it's going to be one of the things that will continue to always keep Ruby standing out above other platforms out there. So I'm glad I got to show that to you. I did want to show you a little bit in the virtual studio, something real quick that I thought was interesting too. When we're talking about prompts, so I want to go to the image gallery real quick. Good view. One of the things that that you can do in your imagery and all that stuff that you're going on with your stuff is look at the prompts and fine tune those prompts. Again, I'm doing 3-4 different iterations here to get what I want on like this car. But if you just click on the image, it's going to open it up, and this is in that pull-out drawer in version 2, right? But you can always see what your prompt is here. And I wanted to show you another really good prompt that delivered this incredible product, right? So I love this image. I think it's exactly what I was looking for. I wanted a sports car close up in the foreground with a blurred depth of field. Okay, so I'm talking about what I want in the midst of a bustling neon lit street. Now, I didn't stop there. I wanted to go into like what are on the signs, what are on the buildings. So I'm giving it a lot of information, holographic ads or towering skyscrapers. And, you know, you can just go in and do so much. Now, I like to put in Pixar style. Okay, so I want it to be like a Pixar style and a Pixar genre. You can do all the things that you want to create stuff. It's just about doing really good prompts. Even doing coloring books and things like you want to do for your kids, or I know that a lot of realtors have been using these to do it, you know, to have the kids do something while they're showing the house. You can create so much stuff, guys. Imagination, open. That's really what you have to do. It's just understand that when you get started in something like this, your imagination can be opened and you can truly go in and create some powerful stuff. Okay, so let's see. Let's kind of move on here, Corey. How's everything going in the chat? I haven't been looking at the chat, so give me a quick rundown in there. In fact, why don't you all put up some fire on what you think you've liked most about this so far. That is ChatGPT 4.0. 4.0 is not included in this and probably won't be for a lot of different reasons. That's not something that we're actually jumping into to have it be your robot. It's going to be great on a mobile phone. It's not going to be great here. Of course, you'll see 4.0 in pretty much all the phones. So you'll be able to use a lot of it there. And we will get moving. All right. So marketing is also a great big part of what we've been talking about moving forward. You know, I wanted to go through a little bit more about the MyFlex AI replicated website that's coming with version 2, because this is how you're going to be able to really drive a lot of funnel stuff. There's 2 sites. Number 1, there's myflex.ai/your username. That's how it is today. In version 2, it will be different. It will be your username dot myflex.ai. So it's a subdomain. So you're going to have your username dot myflex.ai, and that's what you're going to send to everybody to get them to come to the MyFlex replicated website. Now, on that replicated website, they're going to be able to confirm it to you by the drop down. It'll have your name in it. In fact, whatever information that you're putting in the back office to come forward into the replicated site is up to you. And you'll choose the display name, you can choose your real name, you can choose whatever it is that you feel comfortable doing. Now, you're also going to be able to see that we have a little bit different way of laying it out. We have our microservices. Then we have our virtual studio. And then we have our Ruby music. It's separate. Why? Because it really demands it. And then we have our pricing. Okay, now if you're talking just to customers, you're going to want to go to tryruby.com. Okay, tryruby.com is only a customer only site, and it will give you a lot more information for what is going on. Now this has a header on the top, and it's going to be creating, and one of the themes that you'll see is that we are more than, because this is the theme that we're moving out with the company. We're more than just AI. We're more than just an opportunity. We're more than just creativity. We're more than just productivity. We are more. Number one, we're more every day towards something that we all can be passionate about. We're more than just any one thing because we're passionate about a bigger thing. Now, we can also go in and see that you have all the information that they're going to need on the site. It's going to set it up for you. Like, you don't have to know everything about it. All you got to do is get them to the site to pique their interest. We'll talk about the patents. We'll talk about why and what you would be able to do with this product. There's a video that will play there. We'll talk about each one of the services. We'll give great testimonials that'll be here. We're moving these to videos at some point in the very near future. And we have amazing testimonials to use. That's a super powerhouse. If you want to do the customers, this is the Try Ruby site. It's all, again, a replicated site. You will have two. And it will be the same way that you send someone here that you sent someone to the myflex.ai site. It'll be your username .tryruby.com. And it's a great site. It's a great thing that really gives you a lot of pride, number one, of who you're talking about, what you're talking about with Ruby. This is a GIF that's going around and showing all the different things that are going on. You have little interactions. When they click on these, it's going to change this over here so they get to see what it is that they're looking at. When they talk about the virtual studio, they're going to see some incredible imagery. They can see what the quality of what is possible. Obviously, they're going to be able to play the video, and they'll be able to change all of the things that you want to see for your audio lab. And inside of audio lab, they can click and actually hear the quality of the voices that we are using. You can go in and see the amazing price point, because this is where the call to actions come into place. Guys, this is a major play in value. And that's why we keep saying that we're the most powerful, value-driven AI platform in the world, because this is where you find it. 20, 30, 55. And there will be a $100 premium plus option. Okay? Now, they keep going. We have all of our Ruby music that's sitting in there. We're also going to be talking about the ability they can play the music, by the way. There'll be some cuts of music they can play. They hear it from both vocals and from instrumentals. And then, of course, we're calling all those artists to come in and be part of our drop. Now, here's the exciting news. Starting on Monday, we are bringing in all the artists to start making their cuts. So we'll be reaching out to all of them, giving them access to come into Ruby Music and to start to make the music for their drops. And I'm super excited. We actually have our very first submission. It came in a couple of weeks ago because I know him, and we gave him access to backside stuff to go in and create the music. And it is mind-blowing what we're going to push out in our first album. I'm super excited about that, because it's one of the big passions for me is to make sure that we're taking care of those artists. We're going to create this community anyway. And let's go bring people with us and bring them to better and more visibility on our backs. And we can do that. Our blog page is also going to be there for the myflex.ai site, guys, so that you can actually link to articles. That's a great way to bring people into this, with, again, not having to know everything about it. But if you know that somebody is really interested in the real estate market, and we write a blog about how realtors can use Ruby, what a great link to put out to them and just show them, because that's going to be internalized very quickly on their side to say, oh, I could do that. I have been looking for that. And so we can go in through the blogs and really fine tune where you're going to be bringing them in. And you have access to this because these are links in your replicated websites. So you can go in and get that exact page and send that link with the username in the front of the URL. So hopefully everybody has that and understands all that.